EMS learners, welcome back to this channel. My name is Paul Duplessis, aka the EMS guy. Today we're talking about our last topic of this year. We're talking about the levels and the functions of management. We're going to talk about the tasks, what they're doing, and then we're going to end up with a second video which will follow after this, where we're going to look at what's the difference between a manager and a leader. So make sure you watch them, hit like, subscribe, share. See you in the video. So we're starting today with the levels and functions of management. I hope you're going to enjoy this because this is one of those lekker subject topics. Alright, so what we're doing today, and these are the 4 parts in this 2-part series, or 4 subtopics if you want to, that I'm going to split into 2 videos. The first one that we're going to do today is levels of management and tasks, and then the next session will be on the characteristics of good management, and then there's a bit of styles of management. So let's talk about the different levels that you can find of management. Now we have to understand what is management, who is it, and why do they need to be there. So management in our minds, if you have to think what is a manager, I have to think of a manager, you immediately see this guy standing there, do this or no, what are you doing? So it's this person that you see that has been appointed into a position, and they must make sure that things happen. How do they do it? They control. So it's a function, right? So there's a massive need for a person to manage specific tasks. Why? They need to get things done. How do they do it? They are work drivers. So I see this guy on this horse. They make sure this horse just keeps on going and doesn't stop to take too many breaks. And they make sure that the vision that the top managers have casted, that they achieve it by consistently doing everyday single tasks. And if we don't have managers, you'll never ever reach your vision. Now that is the important part. So let's look at the 4 basic tasks that a manager has to do each and every day. So they have to complete this on a daily basis, and this is they have to plan. I saw a quote once and it said, if you fail to plan, you are actually planning to fail. Which makes totally sense. It says if you do not plan, you'll never get anywhere. Alright, so they have to plan. They have to organize. This is now when you look at the different resources that you have. Lead means you have to actually have some leadership abilities and not just shout and delegate and give away, but be able to lead as well. And then comes the most important part, which is controlling. Which is not always the nice part, because you have to really be firm in when you control. But there's a 5th task that I haven't added on here, which is a bonus one for you. It's called risk management, and that means you have to take risk. Remember in the other videos that you've watched, which would be your business functions, we said there's 8 different business functions, but we talked about the 9th one, which is your risk management. This is where it comes into play as well. Alright, and as you can see, it's not just a singular activity, they are interrelated, which means the one falls or leads to the other one. Alright, so there's 3 different levels of managers, and you can see this clearly in this diagram, right? You can see there's a few at the top, then you have your middle, and then at the bottom you have quite a few managers. So this is called the top level management, the middle level management, and the lower level management. They fulfill a specific function and a responsibility, and if they're not there, the business will not really function well. So top level managers, these are your CEOs, your chairman, your presidents, and they make long-term decisions, strategic. They think about what's the vision, where do we want to go to in 10 years, and what do we want to achieve. So they sit and think, how are we gonna go into the future? Is there challenges? Are we, let's say we're Volkswagen, are we going to go into electric vehicles? Are we changing over into a hybrid system? They have to anticipate what will happen in the future. And in order to do that, they must make long-term decisions. We call that strategic. Then we have our middle level managers. They are your regional managers, marketing, all the different business functions. They control that. And then they take this long-term vision, break it up into shorter bits. So let's say there's a 10-year vision, they'll break it up into a 5-year, 2-year, 2-year, 1-year, and that's called tactical decisions. Now that means they want to take the vision and be able to break it down into smaller parts. Then we get our lower level managers. This is not your workers. Your workers is not part of this triangle. They're on another table. They're not even part of this picture. So they take this medium-term plan, this tactical decisions. And this is your shop floor managers, your supervisors, your team leaders, and they make the day-to-day decisions. Oh, Peter is not here today, we need to get another worker. Why? Everyone needs to work, be productive, achieve the target in order to build to the yearly target, in order to grow, in order to be the best in 10 years. So they make these operational short-term decisions. So let's look at that. This is your top level, your middle level, and your lower level as a diagram. And they, in order, each one of them has to plan, organize, lead, and control. It's not just the top level, but all of the different levels of management has to do that. So let's quickly look at another diagram, which you can see at top level. Really, the biggest part of top level management is that they plan, and that they lead, and that they control. You'll see that's quite a big thing, but for them, planning is a crucial thing. Middle level, the biggest one in their strip, is leading. They need to lead by example, make sure that the right people are on the job. And lower level, controlling is a very important function, although leading is just as important. It's also a big function, but controlling there is your shop floor. This is where everything happens. So if they can't control that there, they'll be in trouble. That's why I highlighted that area. So let's look at the 4 basic tasks. You have your planning, that decides what you want to achieve, organizing, how you're gonna achieve the tasks that you planned, and how you're gonna use the resources. Then you have leading, that means your people should know exactly what they should do. You've communicated to them well, you've led them well, you've motivated. And lastly is controlling. If you've done your planning, organizing, leading well, telling people what to do, getting the right people on board, making sure there's resources, controlling will be a blast. That will just be to check in with them to see if they've done it. Last one is to talk about the managers. Now, you can get a lot of managers that doesn't have some good characteristics. They're lazy, they're dishonest. And if that's the trend that they do, they set the example. And if they don't set a good example, people will follow their bad example. But if there's a good example, they will have good leadership influence by communicating good or motivating people. Secondly, you need to understand what's the difference between a manager and a leader. That means they're task-orientated or people-orientated. Manager is all about the task. You need to get things done, whereas a leader shows the vision, creativity, how to do it, includes everyone. Manager says, listen, I don't care what you do, just make sure you do what you need to do. And leader says, you know what, let's do this together, let's go to a new place, let's do this. And the results will be, if you are a leader, you'll get people to work with you. But if there's no managers, nothing will be done. So you need both in a business to make sure this succeeds. Remember, a manager is an appointed position. Leadership is not a position, but it's more of a place where you influence. So make sure you watch the next video. Thank you for watching. See you next time.